If you're about to build a pond, or you already have one, a bog filter is one of the best things you can add to get clean, clear, healthy water. In this video, I'll walk you through how I design a bog filter, what it is, how it works, how to size it, and how much flow to run through it. I'll also show you how to build it, and how to make it part of a bigger system that actually keeps your pond cleaner, clearer, and easier to maintain long term. But if you don't already know me, my name is Kev, and I help people design and maintain ponds without spending a fortune. If that sounds like something that interests you, you might like to subscribe and check out my website, Ozponds.com. A bog filter is basically a natural style filter in the sense that it mimics how wetlands clean water in the real world. Wetlands are absolute powerhouse filters. They strip out things like excess nutrients, nitrogen, phosphates, and even some heavy metals. That's why they're used in big environmental projects to clean up waterways. I was watching a video recently on a massive one in Riyadh in Saudi Arabia. When you build a bog filter, you're creating a small controlled version of that same idea inside your pond system. Inside a bog, you've got a massive surface area for bacteria, you've got algae, fungi doing their thing, you've got all sorts of tiny organisms processing waste, and on top of that you've got plants actively pulling nutrients out of the water and trapping fine sediments. So you're not just filtering water, you're building a little treatment zone that takes pressure off the main pond. The bonus is that bogs and wetland style filters also attract loads of wildlife. You'll often see bees, insects, and other beneficial critters using them as habitat. So if you want a pond that's lower maintenance, more stable over time, and actually improves the environment, bog filters just make sense. They're easily one of the most effective filters you can add to a pond system. In a wetland, water flows in and water flows out. So when we design a bog filter, we do the same thing. The only difference is we're using a pump to move the water through the system. Now we don't want that pump to get clogged. That just creates a maintenance nightmare, and I'm all about low maintenance. I'm bordering on downright lazy. I might even already be there. But seriously, if you protect the pump from sucking up big chunky debris, it's going to need less cleaning, it's going to last longer, and it doesn't have to work as hard. And just as importantly, it helps the bog filter work better too. Because if we send a heap of chunky debris straight into the bog filter, it's going to clog up quickly and become way less effective. So before water ever reaches the bog, we want to stop this big stuff first, and that's what mechanical filtration's for. There's lots of different ways to do mechanical filtration, but I like to keep it simple. In my small ponds, say things under 1,000 litres or 250 gallons, I'll often just use a coarse sponge to protect the pump and keep the bigger solids out. In larger ponds, I always add something like a DIY skimmer or an intake bay to intercept leaves and heavier debris before it ever reaches the pump. The idea is simple. We let the fine material that the pump can easily handle pass through to the bog. We stop the chunky stuff before it gets there, because that chunky debris will either slowly break down into smaller particles over time, or even better, we can scoop it out every now and then and physically remove it from the system. So by doing that, you create a basic flow path that protects the pumps, keeps solids out of the bog, and makes the whole system easier to live with long term. I've made a number of videos, and there's more details on the Ozponds website about designing and constructing DIY skimmers and intake bays, using cheap materials of course, so feel free to check that out if you want to learn more. The size of your bog filter comes down to a couple of main things. How much water you're trying to filter, and what kind of animals, and how many, are going to be living in the pond. I use a few rough rules of thumb, and these have worked well for me. So for wildlife ponds with no fish, I'm going for a bog around 5% of the pond's volume. Goldfish or even other small fish species around 10%. Koi ponds or ponds with larger fish 15 to 20%. And ducks, turtles or really heavy waste loads 25% or more. And if you're planning a swim in the pond, I'd be aiming for 25% or larger, because if you're getting in the water yourself, you really want great water quality. The reason size matters is simple. If the bog's undersized, it just won't have the same biological capacity to deal with the nutrient load you're throwing at it, and you'll probably end up disappointed with the results. If you want a hand working out your numbers, I've got a few calculators on the Ozponds website that can help you estimate the pond volume and the bog filter size. And if you have the complete Ozponds blueprint, the KevBot AI function has all these numbers that I use to build my ponds built in. When it comes to the flow rate through the filter, I have a very simple rule. I get a pump that's 6 times the volume of the filter. So as we just discussed, the volume of the filter is determined by the size and use of the pond, and now the pump is determined by the size of the filter. This general rule works really well on backyard-sized features. The 6-time rule gives you some leeway for head height and pipe friction. If your bog filter's a really long way from the pond, or you need to have it quite elevated in relation to the pond, then you may need to do a bit more homework. But just for most backyard ponds, including my largest ones, I'm using the 6 times rule on all of them. Then for really large bodies of water, they can have less flow because temperature fluctuations and wind movement help to naturally circulate the pond without pumps. And again, that calculator and the KevBot that I mentioned earlier, they can help you with the flow rates for backyard ponds, and there's links to the types of pumps that I like to use to run my ponds, and it's all there on the Ozponds website if you're interested. Building a bog filter is pretty straightforward once you understand a few things, and I have a number of designs that I like to use. But here's the basic principle that they all follow. Number 1, they're all sized correctly, as we've covered. Number 2, I'm happy to build them out of anything that's fish and plant safe and will hold water. We can build them above or below ground level, that doesn't matter. Number 3, my preference is to have the water pumped into the base of the filter and then the water slowly percolates upwards. Some people do prefer to have downflow bog filters. To help the water move freely through the entirety of the filter, we use different size rock and pebble. Well, that is if the filter is deeper than say 30 centimeters, which is a foot for my US friends. If it's only a foot or 30 centimeters deep, then you can just use the same size pebble. But depending on the size and the construction method, we're going to use a dispersal pipe to evenly distribute the water, and both the dispersal pipe and the varying size rock and pebble help with maintenance, and we'll get into that soon. Number 5, I want the filter to allow solid waste to accumulate. To do this, we have a void space at the bottom of the filter. This might be an oversized dispersal pipe, a large void area created with large rocks, milk crates or matrix blocks. Again, it'll vary a bit on what type of design you're using, but we want that waste that finds its way into the filter to stay in the filter. Even the roots of the plants will help trap sediments inside the filter. We can add plants to the filter to help strip out nutrients. The plants you use will depend on your climate. I like to avoid plants that are too aggressive. Aggressive plants are great at soaking up nutrients, but they're also great at clogging the filter. You will need to thin out the plants from time to time to keep the bog filter running at its best. Then number 6, to prevent the waste that accumulates in the filter escaping back to the pond, I always add a breather pipe or a hole. This prevents the water siphoning back into the pond. I find the easiest way to circulate water is if the water level inside the bog filter is higher than the water level inside the pond. This means we can pump the water from the skimmer or intake bay to the filter. It overflows the filter and then can be returned to the pond via gravity. This might be a pipe, a stream or a waterfall, and you can get as creative as you like. But because the filter is higher than the water is pumped into the base of the filter, if the pump is shut off, water will siphon from the higher bog filter back to the lower pond, and that will take some of the waste that's accumulated in the bottom of the filter back to the pond. Of course, we don't want that, because it has the potential to completely drain the filter, dry it out, and that all that water may overflow the pond. Then when the pump starts back up again, the bog filter needs to refill, and it'll look like the pond level has dropped substantially, but it was just the water that overflowed. Anyway, I've got a little sidetracked. Just add a breather pipe or some other method to prevent the filter from siphoning if the pump shuts off. And lastly, we do need to have an easy way to remove all that accumulated waste. Bog filters are awesome in that they require way less maintenance than many other filters, but they still do need some from time to time. So when we build the filter, we add in a simple method to completely drain the system, including that build-up of sludge. Again, how we do this depends on the design we're using, but here's two common examples. Let's say we have a container bog filter that sits above ground level. We can add a simple flush valve at the base of the filter, connect a hose, open the valve and let it drain. Super simple. And then if the filter's dug into the ground, then we can add a vertical clean-out port, and this allows a dirty water pump or a pond vac nozzle to be placed down the port to completely drain the water and sludge that's in the filter. Again, I've made videos on how both are cleaned, along with videos on different bog designs and builds, and these are all included in the Ozponds blueprint, but that's the basic principles I use when building my bog filters. They need to be sized properly with the right flow, be easy to maintain, and I don't want them to siphon or empty if the pump is shut off. Every pond I build follows the same basic principles, and that's the system I put together in my pond formulas blueprint. It's not about copying my pond, it's about understanding the thinking behind it so you can apply the same logic to your own setup. The bog's but one part, and I love this system because it's scalable, it's easy to build and understand, it works just as good as expensive filter systems, and it's helped people all over the world get as much enjoyment from their ponds as I get from mine. And if you want to see how I build a simple bog filter in a barrel, you can watch this video next. Thanks for watching. See ya.